Alright, hello. I've been asked to make a little bit of a guide to how to Tas Flair. So I'm gonna just show all three of the different Tas Flairs that we do in NMG. But before we get into the first one, we have to talk about SP grinding for this one. Because there are two different ways of doing it. One is slightly safer, but loses about 3 seconds. And one is more risky and saves 3 seconds, potentially. So one method is farming against these shotcats down here. Depending on the spawns, they can spawn out here. They will walk closer as you get the sword here, but sometimes you can get into them and then combo them. Like if they're standing as they are here, it can be quite hard. So you only really need 3 to 4, preferably 4. Normally there will be a cutscene here that will end your combat. And then we're going to talk about how to do the Tas Flair. But the other method, which is much safer, is after you get the sword, you just immediately teleport back to Rookie Harbor. Oh, another important thing about this, remember to get this teleport marker before doing this. Then walk down here, start combat, and then end combat, and then immediately teleport. And now, you not only, if you're quick enough, has SP for the first one, but you also have SP for the second one. So the flare into Chris Castro. So, how do we do this Tas Flair? Well, if you look on the ground, right here, there is like a flower on the ground, you can see. And I line up with these black pixels in the middle of the flower. So I line my top of my head up. So if you look at the top of her hair, and you can see the black pixels 1 pixel higher than where I am now. So I'll try to move 1 pixel higher to just line up right there. So I see the 2 black pixels from that flower, like grass flower on the ground, right above where my head is. Then I hold shield, I hold upwards, and I dash, and I hold menu. The timing you're looking for is getting either the pixel I'm on now, where my top of my hair is 1 pixel inside of the fence, or you want the pixel just below this, where the top of her head just lines up with the bottom of the fence. So we're just using her hair to line up here. If you're finding that this timing doesn't work for you, you can experiment with where you're starting. So depending on where you start, it might be easier to hit this pixel. This is basically the important pixel, this one and the one below it. Now, something important to note here is sub-pixel position is important for a Tas Flair. And so sometimes you do it perfectly, you're on the right pixel, but your sub-pixel is wrong and it doesn't work. Nothing we can do about that. But anyway, once you have this pixel, you go into the menu and then you hold your shooting and art down and you charge. And for Tas Flair, and I want to continue holding up through all of this, by the way, I just let go. The charging time is also important. So you want to let it go as soon as possible. It's not like ungodly tight, but it is quite tight. So line up with the flower here. This one is the pixel below where I was before, so this is the lowest pixel that will work. Now, what can happen to go wrong here? Well, you can be too close to the fence, i.e. like this pixel or this pixel. And if that happens, you'll probably just fall down here. Another thing that can happen is you can be too far from the fence, which will result in you sliding, like hitting the fence, but then sliding down. So both of those things can happen. That is just a pixel thing. So make sure you have the right pixel going in. And if you do line up a different place, also like make sure that you have the speed. So you can see there I started from a different place, but I still got the correct pixel on the top of her hair to get the Tas Flair, and so it still works like from other places as long as you have the speed. This is too far out and this is too far in. I'll show. See. So for me it just works with this flower. Basically, oh, I don't have SP, but it basically works with that flower every time for me. So that is the first of the Tas Flairs. The most, what should we call it, useless one. And if you got the shotcat farm, you get this, and then you teleport back and farm shotcats for this one. Okay, so that's the first one down. Let's go to the next one. I made a save for that. This one. Okay. So we gather SP here as much as possible. I like to have completely full bar. But whatever floats your boat, right? You go in here, immediately switch to heat, and shoot over here. You line up at the very edge of this corner. You want to make sure you're at the edge of this block. This is very important. And then when it starts going back, I'm looking. Let me see if I can get my mouse. I cannot. Okay, now I can get my mouse to show you. I'm looking at the top of this here. So I'm looking at the very top pixel here, and I want it to be 1 pixel inside of this block you're seeing here. So I want it to be here. Then I want to start holding right. Oh, another important thing is that this can still fail depending on subpixel position. And if this is not the first frame that you are on this pixel, that is when it can start to fail. So something you can do instead of doing what I did and like letting go here is that you can use map advancing to like make sure that you are on the right. So this is the first frame I'm on the right pixel, so this will always work as long as I'm far enough right on the platform. So I hold right, go into the map, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I jumped. I can hear myself jump. And then I go into the map while charging. And again, we charge, we charge, we charge. And we let go, and we go over. Continuing to hold the right direction. This is not too bad as long as you can hit that specific... see if I can... hit this platform. I can. So long as you're standing at the right place on the platform, and as long as you hit the right pixel. So again, this is the right pixel. I'm looking at the top one. It's the first pixel inside of the block, and it's the block right below the line. And then I start holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I listen for the jump. I heard the jump, and I start charging. If you don't hear the jump, you can do one more map buffer. But the reason you didn't jump is because you didn't stand far enough right. So that is in no way guaranteed to work. Good. So I can't go back. Crazy. Let me just go back because we need to talk about different ways of doing it. There is like a way you can go around, I believe, like do a normal Tas Flair here, spend a single point here, and then like do some crazy fence jump or something there, I believe. But just do the Tas Flair. It's honestly not that bad once you've gotten used to it. So just do the Tas Flair. Trust me. Anyway, you do... oh. You dash through those normally, but I guess I failed it this time. Let's try that again. Right there, basically, the reason it failed is because I ended my dash right here. So you kind of need to get a way to move through the room where your dash doesn't end there, because if it ends there, for some reason that starts to combat. If you are low on SP, you can kill these guys with shooting them in heat to get combat. Okay, for this one, the important pixels to note is the top of this stair. So the line, you see a lighter line here. If your hair is on top of that line, you're too high up and it won't work. If your hair is below that line, but inside of the bottom part of the stair here, then it will work. And it can even go a little bit lower, I believe 1 pixel lower. So this is actually quite free. For me, my timing, I usually look at her feet here and line up with the bottom of this stair. And now my hair is inside of the step, and so I can start charging. And I can go through the fence. I'll show that again. Bottom of the fence here, I'm inside of the stair, I start charging, and I go through the fence. And you can be even lower than this. Let's see if I can find this. This is too low. Yeah, that is too low. This might work. Yeah, I think this should work. This should be the last pixel that works. Yeah, so don't go lower than that pixel. And again, don't go higher than this pixel with your hair. Oh, I don't have the SP. This one is surprisingly free. You have a lot of pixels for some reason to go through this barrier. It is just easier than a lot of the other ones, especially the one in front. So don't be scared. And again, my lineup from the bottom here is just where I like to end it. You can line up like different places and get it to still work. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that you want to be going straight at this barrier. Don't go diagonal, because while it can still work, it is not guaranteed to work. Because the speed is different. So it can still work as you saw, but it is not guaranteed. So just go straight on. That is mostly a controller thing though. Yeah. Again, they are pretty free, honestly. But they can be really nerve-wracking during a run. So get practicing. Just line up your head with the right pixels, and it should work every time basically. Except for the very first one. There's a niche case where the right pixel doesn't work because of sub-pixel positioning. And if you get that in a run, unlucky. I've got it as well on world record pace, so don't feel too bad about it. Anyway, have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed.